you got to get out of that compartment. You got to get out of that 7-day fix. And the way to do that is to start thinking about what vehicle you're using to get you where you want to go. If you want to go to Paris and you're in Miami, you can't drive a car. I know you're comfortable with a car. You know how to drive a car. You've been doing it all your life. This is the way I've always done it, but that car will not get you to Paris. Take some time to take a good look at your life and know where you are. You don't want to keep waking up in the same place all the time and wondering, where'd that wrinkle come from, and time's passing you by. Take a look at your life and see what's maybe missing or what you could put a little more effort into, and sometimes maybe what you could put a little less effort into. I did this a couple of years ago. It was on a dry erase board, and I made it look like a pie shape because I wanted to be able to size them out to say, how much am I putting into this? How much am I putting into that? All of your hobbies, your interests, your work, your friends, everything that's going on in your life. People tend to live in these compartments that they've built, and they last 7 days, and at the end of that 7 days, they just start all over again, and they do it again. And then they wake up one day and realize, I never traveled to that place, or I never did this thing, I never wrote that book, I never did whatever it was that they dreamed about doing some time ago, and they realize, wow, 10 years has gone by. One of the best things about goals, and it's probably the one secret, is if you involve other people in it, you've got a much greater chance of achieving that goal. Webinars are great. I always have them playing somewhere in the background when I'm working in my office, because even if I'm not paying attention, it's still kind of going in and I still get a lot out of it. But when you have the opportunity to go live and see something, take advantage of that every chance you can. Live is so much different because you get the emotion from it, and that's what you get to walk away with. I was in the Orange Bowl 30 years ago watching Bruce Springsteen on his Born in the USA tour. And it took 3 days in line to get tickets. I had a buddy of mine, we came and traded off and brought each other food. We went through a lot to get these tickets. It ended up booking a second night because it was sold out, 80,000 seats, and Bruce rearranged his tour to accommodate a second night because so many people wanted to go. It was so dynamic and exciting. I wouldn't have got the same thing off of TV. I'm not saying don't watch TV or don't watch, webinars and other things. But what I do want to say is take advantage of being there in person. It's something that's slowly getting lost out of society, as so many people are doing something on their phone and they're almost losing touch with what you get out of the live experience. We took her resume and we reworded it and made a story of her life out of it and added some pictures and did some things, some real photos, some clip art, and made a 4 or 5 page book out of it, turned that into a digital book online that was a web link. Now she could, when she sent the resume, she sent the link also and said, I also have this. So now they're flipping through this and thinking, well, this is pretty cool. And oh, look at the pic. Oh, that was her when she was 7. And they're going through this person. All of a sudden, 260 people and this one. She stood out. She ended up getting the job. And I don't know if it's because of that, but I do know that if you don't stand out, find some way to stand out, you're not going to get seen. Be careful saying, that's how I've always done it, or even thinking that. Sometimes when I hear someone say, that's how I've always done it, what I'm really hearing is I've developed a habit out of this. That's what I'm stuck doing, and I didn't even realize it. It turns out that 2 weeks later, I had gotten a pay raise already, and I thought, well, that was pretty quick, and I couldn't help but ask why, and the why was because, I don't remember the wording, but he said something like, you're making me more money than I'm paying you, therefore I'll pay you a little bit more. And I thought, oh, that's how this all works, huh? I can do that. And I realized I was getting paid more than he was paying the mechanics at the shop. And it dawned on me that I'm doing so many jobs and doing so many things because I wanted to go for that next pay raise that he didn't have to hire a second person or have extra help sometimes because I took care of everything. And that was my first great eye-opening as to how to work hard and be able to get rewarded for it in return. People sometimes say they want to better their life and they want to do this, they want to do that and travel and all these aspirations of these big things. But then when they go home at night, they sit on the couch and they tune into Paris Hilton Goes to Chicago or something. They don't realize that that is valuable time that you could be putting into something more worthwhile. If you're serious about doing something, think about how valuable your time is and what you're doing with it. Instead of putting on these TV shows that you're putting on, pick up a book, get around some people that influence you or can motivate you. And you don't have to do that all the time. Have some hobbies, have some Paris Hilton shows once in a while if you want. But you got to find a way to blend that into your life or you're going to continually wake up next Monday morning in the same place. Think about who you associate with. Are you associating with people that are going to lift you up and encourage you and make you think and dream and feel like you can overcome challenges or do something great with your life that you've been wanting to do? You would be surprised when you get around those kinds of people. They'll see something in you that maybe you don't see in yourself and they'll help you bring it out. Most people have cleaned out a garage or cleaned out some part of their house, and afterwards you realize this feels pretty good. It was a real hassle to do it, but it feels good. I've got some space, and I haven't even seen that stuff in 5 years. Obviously I didn't want it. Think about maybe cleaning out your life a little bit. Measure where you are. Where are you with your goals? Where are you with your friends? How long has it been since you spent some time with your kids? Where are you in your life? You're not going to know how to get from this place to this place unless you know what this place is. Try not to get bummed if you get knocked back a bit. A lot of people go work and work and work, and then here's their big thing, and boom, they got knocked down, and they say, well, I guess it wasn't just going to work out for me. Captain Kirk had the ship, and he'd gone on and done some trips, but he wasn't showing a lot of responsibility, which he really didn't later either. But when he went back to the academy, they took the ship away from him and said, you need to go back to the academy for a couple of years. He was just destroyed. What are you talking about? I'm the captain of the Enterprise. He needed to go back because he wasn't ready yet to make it happen. If you're not ready to make it happen at this point, be blessed and be glad that it didn't happen at this point, because that can backfire and really hurt you. Put in your time. Don't be afraid to put in your time and make it work. We often get caught up thinking what people see in us when really what they see is the opposite of what we see in us. I hate it when people say, well, I think I'm a great listener. Well, I know them and they don't listen at all. They're the same one that says, what was that guy's name? Because they weren't listening. I noticed that when you're in his office, he'll clear his desk. He doesn't look at his screen. He's not checking his phone. He's staring at you and he's focused on what you're saying. You don't have to focus that much at somebody when they're talking to you. It might make them feel uncomfortable, but take the time to listen to what they're saying. My addiction was not sex, drugs, or rock and roll, or alcohol, or anything. My addiction was actually attention. I had found out later in life, as I look back on it, that I didn't have a great childhood, a great kid's life, and nobody paid attention to me. And when I saw that Bon Jovi video, what I saw was they were getting attention. I got so wrapped up in the band scene in California in my early 20s, what I was getting was attention, and what I didn't have was any talent as a musician. I wasn't a great singer, a great guitar player. I just kind of pulled my own and that was it. But quitting was tough, like smoking or anything else. I mean, I had to quit. I had a feeling the quickest way from A to B was a straight line, so I shaved my head. These are the hairband days. Can't go into a hairband with a shaved head. So all of a sudden I'm out. Now that throws you into a different pool of saying, okay, I'm lost, who am I? But you'll work your way through that. If you've got any kind of an addiction, find a way out of it. I'm amazed at how many people want to be a writer, or they want to do this, or they want to do that. They want to be a boat captain, they want to be a pilot. And they're not studying who they want to be. You've got YouTube and Google and billions of pages of access to information that's out there. Study who you want to be. If you want to be a pilot, start studying maybe famous pilots, how they thought, what they went through. You'll get a head start. When you go to class to start being a pilot, you'll already be 4 steps ahead of everybody else there. Have some vision. I mean, when Ray Kroc was building McDonald's, he didn't look at the little bit of grease that was dripping off the side of the burger. He was looking at the big picture of where things could be in 30 or 40 years. He was 59 years old when he started visioning that franchise. He never even got to see what happened. You have most likely heard many times, I'll believe it when I see it. A true visionary does the opposite. They say, I'll see it when I believe it.